Last chance auction. The auction house smelled of dust and desperation. Marcus Thorne adjusted his worn jacket and checked his account balance one more time at teen credits. Barely enough for a decent meal. The holographic ticker above the stage counted down the final lots of the day. This was his last chance to find something valuable before rent came due. Lot 387. Unmarked container from the Epsilon salvage. Starting bid at 3 credits, announced the auctioneer, her voice betraying boredom. The container looked unremarkable. Standard cargo pod about 2 meters long, covered in scrapes and space dust. No one raised their hand. Marcus felt a strange pull toward it, like a whisper he couldn't quite hear. 3 credits, he called out, surprising himself. The auctioneer looked up, almost startled. 3 credits going once, twice. Sold to the gentleman in the back. Strange cargo? You're either desperate or stupid, said the loadmaster, as Marcus signed the transfer. That thing's been sitting in our warehouse for 5 years? Security scans showed nothing valuable. Marcus shrugged. He hired a cheap hauler to drag the container to his tiny workshop on the edge of Vanguard Station. The cramped space was filled with half-repaired salvage and forgotten tech. Wasn't much, but it was home. The container seal was military-grade, ancient but intact. Marcus connected his diagnostic tools and frowned at the readings. The pod was drawing power minimal, but steady. Whatever was inside wasn't completely dead. Unexpected discovery, it took 3 hours to bypass the security protocols. When the seal finally hissed open, cold vapor poured out, coating the floor of his workshop. Marcus stepped back, hand instinctively moving to the stunner on his belt. The fog cleared slowly, revealing a transparent chamber inside. His breath caught in his throat. A woman lay suspended in luminescent fluid, her skin a soft lavender purple, eyes closed as if in peaceful sleep. She looked almost human, but not quite, her features more refined. Her long hair floating around her like silver threads in water. "What the hell?" Marcus whispered, approaching cautiously. A small console at the base of the chamber displayed vital signs in an unfamiliar script. The woman was alive, in some kind of suspended animation. This wasn't salvage. This was a person. Difficult decision. Marcus paced his workshop, running his hands through his unkempt hair. The right thing would be to call station security, but they'd just confiscate everything, probably dissect the poor woman in some government lab. He'd seen how non-humans were treated in the frontier stations. He examined the chamber more closely. The technology was advanced but comprehensible. With his engineering background, he could probably initiate the revival sequence safely. The woman might die without proper awakening protocols. This is insane, he muttered to himself. After another hour of deliberation, Marcus made his decision. He calibrated his tools and began the careful process of hacking into the stasis system. The chamber's lights shifted from blue to green as he successfully bypassed the security measures. The revival sequence started automatically. The fluid began to drain, and the woman's chest rose and fell with deeper breaths. Marcus watched, transfixed, as her eyelids fluttered. Then suddenly, they opened, revealing eyes of brilliant amethyst that locked directly onto his. First contact, the purple-skinned woman gasped, her eyes wide with panic as she pressed her hands against the chamber glass. Marcus quickly located the emergency release, and the front panel slid open with a hiss. She tumbled forward, and he caught her before she hit the floor. Her skin was cool to the touch, almost silky. "It's okay. You're safe," Marcus said softly, helping her to a sitting position. She trembled violently, water dripping from her silver hair onto the workshop floor. Her eyes darted around the room, taking in the unfamiliar surroundings before settling back on his face. "WH." She managed, her voice raspy from disuse. "Vanguard Station. Outer Rim. My name is Marcus." She wrapped her arms around herself, looking vulnerable in the thin preservation suit that clung to her frame. Marcus grabbed a blanket from his cot and draped it over her shoulders. She clutched it tightly, still shivering. "Breaking barriers, Lyra," she said after a long silence. "I am called Lyra." Marcus offered her water, which she drank greedily. As her strength returned, her posture changed back, straightening, chin lifting, eyes growing more alert and assessing. "How long?" she asked. "I don't know. The pod's dating system is unfamiliar to me." Lyra closed her eyes, seeming to calculate something. "The stars would tell me," she murmured. "I must see the stars." Marcus helped her to her feet. She was unsteady at first, but adapted quickly. He guided her to the small viewport in his workshop wall. Her eyes widened as she took in the stellar patterns. 63 cycles, she whispered. "I've been asleep for 63 cycles." Hidden truths. As Lyra regained her strength, she revealed fragments of her story. She was Valorian, from a world called Allura, in a distant system. Her people possessed natural telepathic abilities and advanced biological science. "We were peaceful," she explained, sipping the soup Marcus had prepared, "until the hegemony discovered us." The hegemony, a coalition of species who feared the Valorians' potential, had attacked without warning. Lyra had been a scientist, placed in stasis, and launched into deep space with others to preserve their knowledge. "I was not meant to wake alone," she said, her voice heavy with grief. "There were others. 12 pods. Marcus didn't tell her about the missing 11 pods. Not yet." Growing connection. By the third day, Lyra had adapted remarkably to her new environment. She learned quickly, absorbing information about human civilization with fascinating speed. Her gratitude toward Marcus was evident in small gestures, fixing his broken tech with unexpected insights, arranging his cluttered tools with elegant precision. At night, they talked for hours. Marcus told her about his failed career in the fleet, his retreat to salvage work, his solitary existence. She listened without judgment, her purple eyes reflecting the dim workshop lights. "You saved me," she said simply, touching his hand. "Among my people, such a debt is sacred." Marcus felt something stir within him, a feeling long dormant. For the first time in years, he wasn't alone. But outside his workshop, as they slept, a security scan swept through the station. An automated system flagged an unusual energy signature. The report was routed to a special department, one that had been searching for non-terrestrial biological signatures for decades. Remarkable abilities. Marcus woke to find Lyra hovering cross-legged above his workbench, surrounded by disassembled pieces of his broken nav system. Her eyes were closed in concentration, her fingers moving with surgical precision as components floated around her. "You can manipulate gravity," he stated, more impressed than shocked. Lyra opened her eyes, and the parts gently settled onto the bench. "Telekinesis," she corrected. "A simple skill among my people. We develop it as children." She demonstrated the repaired nav system, now functioning at twice its original efficiency. "Your technology is ... interesting. Primitive in some ways, advanced in others. Is this why the hegemony feared your people?" Marcus asked. Lyra's expression darkened. "No, they feared what we knew. Dangerous knowledge in the privacy of the workshop." Lyra revealed more about Valorian science. Her people had discovered principles that unified gravity with quantum mechanics knowledge. That could revolutionize energy production, space travel, even the nature of reality itself. "Each of us in stasis carried different parts of our knowledge," she explained. "I specialized in biological applications, cellular regeneration, neural interfaces." She touched a small crystal embedded in her wrist, nearly invisible against her purple skin. "This contains my life's work. Cures for diseases your people haven't named yet. Methods to extend human life threefold." Marcus understood the implications immediately. "If corporations knew what you're carrying, they would dissect me," she finished calmly. As the hegemony would have, growing suspicion the station's rhythms seemed unchanged. But Marcus noticed subtle differences. Security patrols passed his sector more frequently. The data terminal in the market square displayed his ID briefly when he purchased supplies. "We're being watched," he told Lyra after returning from a supply run. "Someone's asking questions about my purchase from the auction." Lyra was unsurprised. The pod would have transmitted a wake signal when I emerged from stasis. A fail-safe I couldn't prevent. That night they laid low. Marcus disabled the external power connections to his workshop and activated an old signal, jammer legal, but effective. Lyra sat close to him in the darkness, her skin emitting a faint bioluminescent glow. Unexpected intimacy, your heart rate increases when you're near me, Lyra observed, placing her hand over his chest. Is that fear? Marcus smiled nervously. Not exactly. In the soft purple light of her bioluminescence, her features seemed ethereal. Her silver hair framed her face like a halo. Valorians form deep bonds quickly, she said softly. It's part of our biology. I feel connected to you already. Her fingers traced the line of his jaw. The touch sent electricity through him. He'd been alone so long, he'd forgotten what closeness felt like. We should leave tomorrow, Marcus whispered. I know people in the outer colonies. Places to hide, but as Lyra leaned closer, her lips nearly touching his, an alarm blared throughout the station. The workshop's security system flashed red. Attention. Mandatory lockdown. Unauthorized biological. Entity detected in Sector 7. They looked at each other in the pulsing red light. Their time had run out. Narrow escape there, locking down the entire sector, Marcus said, grabbing his emergency pack. We have minutes at most. Lyra moved with surprising efficiency, gathering only what was essential. The maintenance tunnels, she suggested. Do they connect to the docking bays? Marcus nodded, impressed. She'd memorized the station schematics he'd shown her just once. He pried open the hidden floor panel, revealing a narrow service tunnel beneath. You first, he urged. Helping her down, the tunnel smelled of lubricant and recycled air. They crawled through darkness, guided by the soft glow of Lyra's skin. Behind them, the sounds of boots and scanner beeps grew louder. Enforcement squads, Marcus whispered. Corporate, not station security. They want me alive, Lyra said with certainty. The knowledge I carry is useless if I die. Desperate measures, they emerged in the lower docking bay, where smaller vessels were stored. Marcus led her to an unmarked maintenance shuttle, technically station property, but he'd modified the registry codes months ago for emergencies. Can you fly this? Lyra asked as they slipped inside. Not legally, Marcus grinned, his fingers dancing across the startup sequence. But yes, the bay doors remained sealed, standard lockdown procedure. Marcus swore under his breath, but Lyra placed her hand on the control panel. Her eyes closed in concentration, and her purple skin pulsed with energy. The ship's systems responded to her touch, bypassing security protocols that should have been impenetrable. Valorian neural interface, she explained. Your machines speak a language my mind understands. The docking clamps released, and they launched into the void, narrowly escaping as weapons fire erupted behind them, deepening bond 3 days in the cramped shuttle brought them closer than either expected. The danger heightened everything each shared meal. Each moment of rest became precious. In the quiet of space, Lyra taught Marcus's meditation techniques from her world. Their hands intertwined as she guided his consciousness. Your mind is unusual for a human, she observed. More open, more ... receptive. During their third night cycle, as they drifted in the shadow of an unmapped asteroid, Marcus finally asked the question that had been haunting him. If we find a safe place, will you stay, or try to find others like you? Lyra's amethyst eyes held his gaze. Without a word, she leaned forward and pressed her lips to his. The kiss was tentative at first, then deepened with unexpected intensity. Her skin warmed beneath his touch. Ow. The faint bioluminescence brightening with her emotions. I am the last of my kind, she whispered against his lips. But perhaps not forever. Unexpected allies, the coordinates Marcus had been aiming for, led to Persephone's. Asia lawless mining colony built into a shattered moon. As they approached, 3 ships emerged from behind a debris field. Bounty hunters, Marcus breathed, reaching for the weapons controls. The CUM system crackled. Shuttle Bravo 6, identify or be destroyed. Before Marcus could respond, Lyra placed her hand on the communications array. Her eyes glowed as she sent a pulse through the system, not words, but something deeper. The pursuing ships hesitated, then formed an escort pattern around them. "What did you do?" Marcus asked in amazement. "I showed them the truth," she replied simply. "Some humans are naturally receptive to Valorian thought patterns. These are kindred spirits. As they landed, they were met not by enemies, but by a diverse group of humans and non-humans, a hidden network of refugees and outcasts who had been waiting for someone like Lyra for generations." The hidden colony, Persephone's Edge, concealed more than a mining operation. Deep within the moon's catacombs lay an ancient settlement, a sanctuary for those who existed beyond the boundaries of recognized species. "We call it Haven," explained Elias, their gray-skinned guide. "For 3 centuries, we've sheltered those hunted for their differences." Lyra walked among them with wonder beings with abilities, forms that defied classification. Some were escaped experiments, others evolutionary offshoots from isolated colonies. All recognized something in her that resonated with their own existence. "You carry the knowledge of the Valorians," an elderly woman said, touching Lyra's crystal implant with reverence. The stories were true. Marcus watched as Lyra was embraced by this strange community, feeling both joy for her and a growing unease that he might lose her to this new family. Facing pursuers, their peace was short-lived. Within days, corporate ships appeared in the system, not the scattered bounty hunters they'd evaded, but a coordinated fleet with advanced tracking capabilities. They followed the shuttle's quantum signature, Marcus realized. My fault. The colony leaders gathered in the central chamber. Most argued for abandoning the settlement. They had emergency protocols, escape routes prepared for such eventualities. "No," Lyra's voice cut through the debate. "I will not have you displaced again." She stepped into the center of the room, her purple skin luminous with purpose. "The knowledge I carry isn't just about biology. The Valorians understood more than science. We understood balance." Lyra's decision in the chamber's silence. Lyra removed the crystal from her wrist. Blood, the color of dark amethyst, welled from the small wound. "This contains everything my people learned over 10,000 years, she said softly. "It was meant to rebuild our civilization. Instead, it will protect yours." She placed the crystal in an ancient device at the center of the chamber technology that predated even her people. As it activated, holographic displays spiraled around them, showing defense systems long dormant within the moon. "I'm giving Haven the means to remain hidden permanently," she explained to Marcus. "A deflection field that bends light, gravity, and thought itself." "You're giving up your people's legacy," he said, understanding the sacrifice. Lyra took his hand. "I'm protecting their values. Life over power, community over dominance. New horizons, the corporate fleet never found them." From the outside, the shattered moon appeared uninhabited, just another piece of cosmic debris. Inside, Haven flourished, protected by technology that would remain mysterious to outsiders for centuries. Marcus and Lyra built a home near the artificial lake at the colony's center. He continued his work as an engineer, now applying his skills to improving life in Haven rather than just scraping by. She became a healer, using her knowledge to help the colony's diverse inhabitants. 6 months after their arrival, as they watched the projected stars from their dwelling's roof, Lyra placed Marcus's hand on her abdomen. "Impossible," he whispered, understanding her meaning. "Improbable," she corrected with a smile. "But my people specialized in the improbable. The child would be the first of a new lineage, neither fully Valorian nor human, but something entirely unique. Just as their community was neither fully hidden nor fully revealed, existing in the space between worlds." "What will we tell them about where they come from?" Marcus asked, gazing at the stars. Lyra's eyes reflected the cosmos above. "We'll tell them they come from a lucky salvage, from a sealed pod purchased for 3 credits that changed the galaxy forever." In the years that followed, the legend spread in whispers across the frontier of a purple-skinned woman and the salvager who found her. Some called it a myth. Others searched in vain for the hidden sanctuary. But for those who needed it most, Haven's coordinates would sometimes appear mysteriously in their navigation systems, guiding them home.